When we talk about the perfection of God's timing, we're referring to His sovereign knowledge and wisdom, which surpasses all human understanding. This theme is prevalent throughout the Bible, showing us that God's plans unfold in ways that challenge our human impatience and desire for immediate answers. Yet, as we dive deeper into this concept, we begin to see how each delay, each detour, and each moment of uncertainty serves a greater purpose. God's timing is a concept that challenges our need for control and certainty. We often seek answers and quick results, yet the journey of faith teaches us that God's timing is always perfect. He is never early or late, He is always on time. This belief asks us to trust with unwavering faith, even when our circumstances seem unclear. A beautiful metaphor for God's timing is the transformation of a caterpillar into a butterfly. Hidden from sight within a cocoon, the caterpillar undergoes a profound change, emerging in its perfect time as a butterfly. Similarly, our lives undergo transformations that may not be immediately visible. While we may not see God's work, He is actively shaping us, preparing us for the moment when we are ready to spread our wings. The Bible provides us with assurances of God's perfect timing. Psalm 27 verse 14 urges us to wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and He shall strengthen your heart. This verse speaks to the importance of patience and trust, reminding us that waiting is not passive, but a dynamic process where we grow in faith and courage. Like the caterpillar in its cocoon, we are called to trust that God's unseen work is for our benefit, even when we can't yet understand His plan. Proverbs 3 verse 5-6 reinforces this theme, instructing us to trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct your paths. This message resonates with anyone who has faced uncertainty or disappointment. It's a call to surrender our plans to God, confident that His guidance is both perfect and timely. Consider the story of David, who was anointed as king long before he actually took the throne. His journey was fraught with danger, betrayal, and moments of despair. Yet David held fast to God's promise, understanding that the fulfillment of that promise would come in God's perfect timing, not his own. This story illustrates how God's timing often doesn't align with our expectations, yet it is always purposeful. In our fast-paced world, waiting is often seen as a waste of time. However, Isaiah 40 verse 31 provides a different perspective, stating that those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength, they shall mount up with wings like eagles. This verse portrays waiting as a time of renewal and strength, a necessary pause that prepares us for the journey ahead. The beauty of God's timing is often revealed in the unexpected turns of our lives. Doors that close, relationships that end, or jobs we don't get can lead us to places we never imagined, ultimately guiding us toward our divine purpose. Jeremiah 29 verse 11 reassures us that God has plans to prosper us and give us hope in a future. This promise invites us to trust that even in disappointment, God's plan is far greater than we can comprehend. Patience and waiting on God's timing teaches us the value of the present moment. It challenges us to find joy and purpose in the now, rather than constantly looking forward to the next thing. This mindset fosters a heart of gratitude, recognizing the many ways God is working in our lives, even when we are in a season of waiting. One of the greatest challenges in trusting God's timing is dealing with uncertainty. The unknown can be a source of anxiety and fear. Yet faith calls us to face the future with confidence, knowing that God's peace will guard our hearts and minds. Philippians 4 verse 6-7 encourages us not to be anxious but to present our requests to God, trusting that His peace will sustain us. God's timing also brings peace, a peace that comes from knowing we are not alone. Our lives are guided by a loving Creator who knows us better than we know ourselves. This peace allows us to face each day with hope, looking forward to the perfect fulfillment of God's plan. As we reflect on God's timing, let's consider the growth we experience through waiting. In the quietest moments, we are invited to deepen our relationship with God, nurturing our faith and character. The story of Joseph, who was sold into slavery and unjustly imprisoned, reminds us that even in challenging times, God's plan is at work. Joseph's journey taught him wisdom, humility, and leadership, ultimately leading him to fulfill God's purpose. Living in the fullness of God's timing means embracing the present with gratitude, even in uncertainty. It involves finding joy in the moment and trusting that God's timing is always perfect. By surrendering our control and trusting in God's guidance, we experience a peace that surpasses understanding. Let us remember that each season in our lives has a purpose. Just as nature has seasons for planting, growing, harvesting, and resting, so do we. Recognizing and embracing the season we are in allows us to live fully, appreciating the unique gifts and challenges it brings. As we walk this journey of faith, let us remember that God's timing is always perfect, and in His perfect timing, we will find our deepest fulfillment. The gift of delay. In a world that values speed and instant gratification, delays can feel like a burden or a setback. However, from a biblical perspective, delays often serve as opportunities for growth, reflection, and preparation. The waiting period allows us to focus on our relationship with God, to develop patience, and to refine our character. God's timing often involves waiting because He knows we need time to mature, to heal, or to align our desires with His will. It's in these moments of waiting that we build resilience and endurance. This process can be uncomfortable, but it's essential for our spiritual growth. The divine detour. Sometimes the path we envision for ourselves doesn't align with God's plan. We experience what feels like a detour, a deviation from our intended course. These moments can be disorienting and lead to questioning God's presence and purpose in our lives. Yet, divine detours often steer us toward a greater destiny. Finding peace in the unknown. The unpredictability of God's timing can be unsettling, especially when we face uncertainty and fear. Yet, it's in these moments of uncertainty that we have the opportunity to strengthen our faith. Trusting in God's timing requires us to let go of our need for control. It means surrendering our plans, dreams, and expectations to God, trusting that He is orchestrating a story that is far greater than we could ever imagine. The power of hope. Waiting on God's timing cultivates hope, a confident expectation that God is at work, even when we can't see it. Hope is what sustains us during difficult times, providing the strength to endure and the assurance that God's promises will be fulfilled. Embracing the present. Living in the fullness of God's timing means embracing the present moment, finding joy in the ordinary, and recognizing that every day is a gift from God. When we live in the present, we open our hearts to the blessings that God has for us today. We become more attuned to the beauty of creation, the love of those around us, and the opportunities to serve and make a difference. Living in the fullness of God's timing also involves letting go of the past. It's easy to dwell on past mistakes, missed opportunities, or unfulfilled dreams. Yet God invites us to leave the past behind and move forward with confidence. Conclusion: God's timing is always perfect. God's timing is always perfect. This truth is a source of comfort and assurance, especially during times of uncertainty and waiting. By trusting in God's timing, we experience the peace that comes from knowing that our lives are in the hands of a loving Creator. We learn to find joy in the present, to embrace hope, and to cultivate patience. May this reflection on God's timing inspire you to trust in His plans, knowing that He is orchestrating a story that is far greater than anything we could imagine. Remember, even in the quietest moments, God is at work, shaping our lives with precision and grace. Trust in Him, for His timing is indeed perfect.